Good morning. Going to share some deep thoughts this morning of reflecting on recent things I've been reading and watching regarding spirituality and recognizing my own patterns of beliefs that stand in my way. So I'm going to share what I wrote this morning. If I choose to believe that what stands in my way is limiting beliefs or that I have to struggle, then isn't that just another belief that stands in my way? God or source doesn't listen to my ego anyway, which is the source of those beliefs. If we are all powerful creators from our souls, creating a life we choose that resonates and we are happy about it, then what difference does it make if we all agree, so long as we are all content with what we have and are not striving for people to think or act like us? A quote by Anthony DeMello: "Live your life the way you see fit. That's not selfish. Selfish is to demand others live their lives the way you see fit." And that's where a lot of misery comes from, honestly. If we're not happy, then we can recognize that we have choices and make those choices to fit with what will create happiness. It's really just about letting go of victimhood. And as far as chasing a desire, that comes from a place of victim. In other words, I don't have what I need, so I'm going to go get it. Something's going to make my life better somehow. But following curiosity, on the other hand, comes from a place of inspiration and joy. So you're doing something because you enjoy it, not because you feel a sense of lack, which then again comes from victimhood. I recall a time in my life when I had zero curiosity and no idea of the concept of joy. I did not chase joy or curiosity, and it felt as though I was on death's door. I distinctly remember after losing my daughter, recognizing within myself I had zero desire to learn about anything, which is so out of the norm for me. I'm a ferocious researcher and self-development junkie and I enjoy learning. I love it. I get joy out of it. But during those times of grief and vast amounts of shame, I had no desire to learn anything, to try anything, to do anything other than to survive basic necessities. And even that was a struggle. I didn't pursue a life of happiness. It didn't even occur to me to do that. But eventually, I did pursue a place of peace. The pursuit of something in itself isn't bad. So it isn't about pursuing that makes us a victim. It's not wrong. It's just showing us where we're discontent. And where we're discontent, we are disconnected from our true selves. So if our values line up with us in a certain way and we are acting outside of those values, we're going to be discontent. The more you chase, though, the more discontented you become because you begin to think this chase will never stop. My whole life is going to be about chasing happiness or chasing peace or chasing security. I read these verses in the Course of Miracles that said the following: perfect love casts out fear. So if fear exists, then there is not perfect love. But only perfect love exists. If there is fear, it produces a state that does not exist. And in another verse, A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need to correct. If you are connected to God, then everything in your life will feel like a gift. You will recognize God or source as a giving tree and be grateful for all of it. And anything that that giving tree wants to continue to give you, it will. But if you are coming from a place of not grateful for what you have, constantly wanting more, feeling like you don't have what you need, you're standing in your own way. I think of an example when my kids were young and we made a family trip to an amusement park called Six Flags in the St. Louis, Missouri area. And we spent the entire day at the park having all kinds of fun rides, um, games. We had a little bit of a snack, but mostly we ended up bringing our own food because it was more affordable and we were on a budget. And at the end of the day, we're all getting in the car. It's been a long day. We're tired. Um, One of my kids starts complaining, and I didn't get to do this, and I didn't get to have that. And I remember getting very upset with him and saying, more or less, "You ungrateful little snot," like those weren't my exact words, but wow, you're complaining about how much fun we had, and maybe next time I just won't offer to do the fun for you. And two things come to my mind with that story. One, everything we see in others, we have in ourselves. Every trait we have seen in others, we have in ourselves. So when we accept those parts and acknowledge them as worthy of love, even the complainer, even the whatever comes to your mind as unacceptable, then those parts of ourselves get incorporated and we can love without reservation. The other thing that comes to my mind is if God or source is anything like me in the response of, wow, I don't really feel inclined to give you another day of fun because you didn't appreciate what I gave you. um why would I give you more? You're not even enjoying what you got, so why would I give you more? And I don't think God's resentful like that, but like, you're not ready for it. You're not ready for it. You can't accept what I'm offering you as a gift. So to summarize, now I'm choosing to remember if I read the last verse. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need to correct. So when we feel that we're separated from God, we come from this place of constantly trying to fit in, constantly trying to struggle for our needs to be met. Wow. Yes. Um, Constantly feeling like our health or our emotions or our circumstances are not enough. Constantly feeling not enough. A sense of shame, a sense of lack, a sense of victimhood. So, to summarize, fear is the creation of your mind. You are welcome to keep it, though love or source, God, will keep pulling you forward. Your soul desires will win, even if it's on your deathbed. Your soul's desire will win. Humanity, on the other hand, has a tendency to pull you backwards. And I'm not saying put the blame out there. I'm saying be careful of what you allow into your mind. Be careful of what beliefs you choose. Be careful of what beliefs you water, because the people who you surround yourselves with and accept their beliefs as valid will continue to feed that sense of separation. Put another way, as far as the fear goes, a quote by Byron Katie: to believe that you don't have what you need is the definition of insanity. What occurs to me is if you needed it, you would have it. If you needed it, you would have it. You need to breathe, you need to eat, you need a place to sleep, you need clothes. If you needed it, you would have it. Or, and another way of looking at this from the things that I've read about Byron Katie and the stories that she's shared, in those times where we feel a great lack of need, something was missing, we can re examine and look at our thoughts and say, actually, I had what I needed. It maybe wasn't what I wanted, but I had what I needed. Eckhart Tolle puts it another way: when you complain, which comes from a place of lack or not appreciating what you have, or feeling a sense of need is not being met, you make yourself a victim. Leave the situation, change it, or accept it. All else is madness. Now, that doesn't mean you can't express your emotions. By all means, if the emotions have been created, express them, because otherwise they get stuck and they create more problems. That energy is waiting to move. But instead of choosing to create, like I did yesterday, a sense of annoyance about a situation, is really just a resistance of this shouldn't be happening. But it is happening. So it should be happening, because if it wasn't supposed to be happening, it wouldn't be happening. Does that make any sense? In summary, when you live your life as a victim, constantly chasing contentment because something out there is better, and I just have to figure out how to fix it so I will be fulfilled, then the complaints spew forth from a place of discontent, and you exhaust yourself mentally or emotionally with fear. You've created a reality that does not exist because you believe yourself to be separate from all that is. Everything that you see, you are connected to. Everything. Everything that you think, you are connected to. Everything that you believe, you are connected to. Everything you admire or despise, you are connected to. In the coaching world, we have a phrase that I learned from my curriculum: you spot it, you got it. Yes, that means both the good and the bad. You spot it, you got it. When you believe you are separated from all that is, you have trusted in the myth of normal. My life should look like their life. My body should look like their body. My bank account should look like their bank account. My relationship should look like their relationship. And anytime you're using the word should, it's a judgment. And anytime you're creating a judgment, it's a complaint. And anytime you're creating a complaint, it's coming from a sense of lack. Everything is a choice. Once you recognize you have choices and that you aren't a victim unless you decide you want to be a victim, everything changes. Give yourself grace. Make it a great life.